Hello and welcome back to another episode of Wealth from Christ podcast, a show where we inspire the masses to become financially free while building God's kingdom. On a podcast today, we have the pleasure of having Mr. AJ Simmons. Mr. AJ Simmons, the founder of the Clean Business Network. Mr. AJ is well known for teaching people how to build six figures cleaning business. And today on the podcast, we're going to talk about how Mr. AJ got into the cleaning business and how he teaches others to do the same. So thank you for being here, Mr. AJ Simmons.
Absolutely, Dami. It's my pleasure. I appreciate you for even inviting me on and having me.
That's great. That's great. So what led you to becoming an entrepreneur or even get into the cleaning business?
Yeah, man. So from the beginning, growing up, I knew already that I wasn't going to college. You know what I mean? I barely made it through high school. Towards my last semester in high school, I just straight stopped showing up. And I just kind of, at the very last minute, I negotiated my way with the guidance counselor at the school. That said, hey, I'm going to pay my senior dues. Can I please, come to graduation and walk through the stage? I lied, made up this lie and told her I was working at the shipyard locally where I lived and trying to help my mom pay bills. In reality, I didn't even live at home. My mom had kicked me out. I was staying at a girlfriend's house. But needless to say, I negotiated my way through getting through high school to get that diploma. And but at that point, I already knew I wasn't going to college. And all my friends got locked up that I grew up with. And so it was like, you know what? I just felt alone. I wanted to get a head start on getting some money, but I knew that I wasn't going to college, and I knew that I won't try to work at nobody's job for the rest of my life. So early on, I automatically knew I'm going to have to start some type of business. And then that's when I came across a guy we used to call Pops, who had a cleaning company. And so he hired me and my family, me and my friends to work for him. And I asked him, I said, hey, how did you get to be your own boss? Like, do you need a degree for that? Do you need this? He was like, you don't need a degree. And you just basically just put your money up and then you can start the business. And so from that point on, I always knew that I was going to go into business, and particularly a cleaning business.
That's good. I mean, I wanted to talk. So my next question was, how were you able to define the environment? Because you say a lot of your friends went to jail. So how would you say that you're not going to follow that same path for, going to the entrepreneur journey?
That's a great question. I don't think I've been asked that before. So what happened was, I didn't initially do that, right? So I always thought that I was gonna go down that path. The way I grew up was I thought going to jail was a rite of passage. So I figured the only reason I didn't go yet because I was younger than them. Everybody that hung with me was a little bit older than me. And so I thought it was coming, but what ended up happening was I caught a charge for selling drugs or whatever. And so when I went to court, they tried me as an adult, but they suspended the time that I was supposed to go to jail and gave me community service instead. And I had a deadline that I had to complete this community service. And if I didn't complete it, then I would have to go to jail and finish that time that they gave me. So what ended up happening was I didn't do the community service I was supposed to do because I'm that hard-headed, right? But what ended up happening was a recruiter, a military recruiter for the Army National Guard, told me that if I went in the military, they'll drop all those charges. You don't even have to go to court. And then I talked to, I think it was my mom or somebody I spoke to told me the same thing. So as the court date was approaching, I realized they was going to see I didn't go to community service. I went ahead and enrolled in the military. I did go off to boot camp, and then while I was at boot camp, my mom and my public defender went to court for me. They told the judge that I was going off in the military, and the judge literally dropped all the charges. It was like it never happened. So that's how I got out of, going to jail and got out of basically from Portsmouth, where I'm from, which is a real rough city. But what made me wake up was being in the military, right? Getting outside of Portsmouth, Virginia, and seeing that, wait a minute, the world is bigger than Portsmouth, right? Like, I'm from the apartments that I'm from is called Charlestown. If I walk anywhere in Portsmouth, I can say, yeah, I'm from Charlestown, right? I can rep that. Well, when I was in Fort Gordon, Georgia, nobody knew either, right? And then also, when I went to, North Carolina, they didn't care where I was from, right? When I went up to Maryland Proving Grounds, they didn't care, right? So it was like after a while, I started to realize, wait a minute, the world is much bigger than this little city that I'm from. Most people didn't even know where Portsmouth, Virginia is, right? So it's like, let alone my little apartment complex that I'm trying to rep, right? So at that point, it really woke me up. And then also while I was gone for about a year and a half. I was only supposed to be gone probably about 9 months, but it took me way longer because I kept getting in trouble while I was gone too, because I didn't want to listen to the drill sergeants. But when I finally got home, I realized I didn't miss anything. everybody was still doing the exact same thing. The guys that hang on the corner were still hanging on the corner. The girls that, twist up and down the street, they were still twisting up and everybody, it was like time stopped, except for me, right? I came home with a little bit of money. All of a sudden I had a bank account. Never had a bank account before. They set me up with a bank account, right? They taught me about credit when I was in the military. You have to go through that, right? And so then I come back a little bit bigger now, I'm in better shape, right? And so when I left and I come home and I see everybody else is doing the same thing, and I kind of woke up a little bit, you know what I mean? Like, wait a minute, I don't think that this is the path that we need to go on. You know what I mean? And so that's what really woke me up, was just simply getting away from that small town that I'm from.
That's definitely a great story. So you did that. You did the military. You asked your supervisor, cleaning. So how did you go about going about your own first cleaning business?
Yeah, man. So I did something that I don't recommend most people do today, but what I did was what I knew. So the guy that I was working for as a teenager with his cleaning company, he was with a cleaning franchise. And so I just went and did what he did. So I went and I bought a cleaning franchise as well. So when I went in the military, the second reason that I went in was because they gave me a enlistment bonus. So it was like, one, I was going to get out of trouble, right? I didn't want to go to jail. And then two, I went because I heard they was going to give me this $20,000 enlistment bonus if I signed up. So the way it worked was, when you first come home, they give you 10 grand up front after the first basic training, whatever. 3 months after you come home, you get your first 10 grand. Then 3 years later, they'll give you the other 10 grand. I didn't make it to the other 10 grand. I eventually went AWOL and got out of the military, but I did get that first 10 grand. And so after taxes, it's actually like 7,500. So I took like the bulk of the money. Me and my girl got our first apartment. We was 19 years old, got our first apartment, got us a flat screen. Back then, flat screens was a big deal, right? It was brand new. And, we got us a flat screen, we furnished the house, and we was good. And then the last little $2,000 I took and I invested in a cleaning franchise. And so that was pretty much how I got my start in the commercial cleaning industry. Now, I don't want to jump the gun and fast forward too much, but eventually, obviously, I got out and went independent, and now I'm teaching other people to go independent as well. But that was pretty much how I got my start, though.
That's good. So what made you want to go independent, like get out the franchise and do it on your own?
Yeah, man. So first off, I'm gonna make sure I don't leave too many things out. So that first franchise I bought when I was 19, I was horrible. Okay, I was a horrible business owner, still immature. I wasn't cleaning the buildings. I would lie and say I did. I would get complaints all the time. I was sweeping crumbs under the rugs. I would not mop, only vacuum, but wouldn't mop. And it's like, I'm thinking that they wouldn't notice when it was very obvious, So I was a horrible cleaning franchise owner back then. I was 19. So by the time I was 21, I believe it was, I did that for about 2 or 3 years. Actually, it was 22. So by the time I was 22, I actually got out of it. I sold my cleaning franchise because I was losing all of my contracts anyway for horrible service. Then I had a barbershop, but anyway, I won't get into all of that. The point is, fast forward, I started again and bought a second cleaning franchise because I learned my lesson after a while. I started mature. Maybe I was 25, 26, and I realized, you know what? If I could do that over again, I could be better at it. The reason why I kept losing my contracts was because I wasn't cleaning the way I was supposed to, right? So then I bought in again. And I think I can't remember exactly, but I know it was in 2014. So however old I was in 2014, I bought a second franchise. The first franchise was with a company called Coverall. Then the second time I bought in with a company called Jam Pro. When I bought in with Jam Pro, I was laser focused. I had, I can't remember, my son was born. Yeah, I had, both of my kids were born. So I had 2 kids by then, had a family. We bought a property. Like we were, I was progressing in life. So I was more mature, ready to go. So when we bought this franchise the second time, and by the way, anytime I say we, I'm talking about my wife. Shout out Regina. She was always there for me from the beginning. But anyway, so when I bought that second franchise, I was the man. I mean, we hit 6 figures right after our first year. I won this Jam Pro Franchise Owner of the Year award here. And everything was pretty much on the up and up from there. Now, the problem was eventually I ended up, they asked me to become a operations manager for them and work for them as an employee. And so I accepted the position because I wanted to get away from Virginia anyway, because I was still in Portsmouth, Virginia at that time, even while going to the business, right? But I knew it was time for a change, okay? So I moved down to Florida. They actually moved me down to Florida to go work for them at another Jam Pro location in Florida. Well, when I became an employee of them, I started to see the inner workings of things. And I started to see that, all these blogs online that will bash cleaning franchises, all of these YouTubers that were bashing cleaning franchises, all of these bad reviews weren't as wrong as I thought they were. And what I mean is because a lot of people were saying how franchises were scams and they rip offs and this and that. I won't call them a scam. And the reason why I won't call them a scam is because they do give you the information up front before you buy, right? They tell you what the fees are and everything. So it's up to you to read and figure out if it's a good deal for you or not. And so I won't call it a scam or a ripoff, but what I will say, it is definitely not the best option for a intelligent person. For a smart person, for a person, like if you're completely just almost illiterate, you can't operate a computer, send a bill in peace, then maybe you should go with a cleaning franchise and let them handhold you through everything. But 9 times out of 10, most people are capable of running a cleaning company on their own, and you don't need that. And so that's what I saw when they hired me as an employee, because I was able to see, wait a minute, they make more money off of the actual unit franchise owners, which I was, than they do off the actual customers that you clean, right? So then it's like, wait a minute. So that in that case, the only incentive that they have really is really to recruit new franchise owners, give them a few accounts. They don't give adequate training. So you get in there, you mess up the accounts, the cleaning. And when I say accounts, I'm talking about the customers that we clean. So you get in there, you mess up the customers, and then they take that contract from you, resell it to another franchise owner, and then they make more money again off another franchise owner, and the cycle just repeats itself. So once I recognized that pattern, I just could not do that job like anymore. Morally, I couldn't continue to do it. And then also I had to get out of my cleaning franchise that I was still running while I was in Florida. I was still running that 4 states away up in Virginia. And I decided to sell that as well. So I sold that cleaning franchise and got out of the Jam Pro operations manager job that I had. And I was just at a standstill, like, now what do I do? And so I came up with this idea of Clean Biz Network to start selling my own starter kits to help people get started with cleaning companies. And I created a lead generation service to help them find the customers for those cleaning companies. And then eventually I created a mobile app as well to help them to figure out the price for when they want to bid on these cleaning contracts. So I basically used, my anger towards the franchises to help fuel my next business idea. And like, you know what, I see a problem with this here and I want to provide a solution for it.
That's great. That's great. So what would you say is the biggest challenge for people when they're starting their cleaning business?
The biggest challenge? There's a lot of them, man. I guess really number one is the mindset. You know what I mean? Like just simply the mindset and understanding that you're capable of being a boss. You know what I mean? You don't need some old white guy backing you or some rich person backing you or a big corporation backing you. You don't need the know-how, so to speak, or anything, because at the end of the day, how does anybody know how to do anything? They just try it, right? Like we all start with no experience. A lot of people think, well, I don't know how to clean. I never cleaned before. Well, nobody did, right? Before you ever learned how to drive, did you know how to drive before you tried, right? You did it, but you have to do it at some point. You just have to do stuff, man. And it's like that mindset shift is what's necessary to succeed in any business, really, not even just the cleaning industry, but really in any business. So I think that's the first thing. The hardest thing is people just have to get over that mental block of thinking that you need some special course or some special training or some special guidance or anything. You really don't need anything. You know what I mean? Now, you can find somebody's course that help make the journey easier for you, just like I have courses available too. But I always tell people all the time, and that's why I do hundreds of free YouTube videos as well, to let you know, hey, but you can figure this stuff out by yourself. You know what I mean? It might take you time, but if you don't have the money to invest in a course, to just do stuff and then put your time into it so you can put sweat equity into it, right? And learn over time yourself versus if you don't have the money. Now, if you do have some money to spare, then yes, you can take a course, right? But don't feel like you need somebody's corporate backing or somebody's franchise to be successful, because you're perfectly capable of doing it yourself. And then I guess if we want to get more practical and not just talk on mindset stuff, okay, so then I'll say the hardest thing for people to do is define a customer, right? But it's really simple, man. All you have to do is a numbers game. you literally can go, dress up, put on your collar shirt or your logo shirt if you make a logo shirt for your company, and literally go door to door to door and walk in there with a flyer and a business card and say, hey, I'm AJ with Clean Biz Network. We offer services in your area. Do you know who's in charge of hiring a cleaning company here? And there you go. And so at that point, they're going to tell you who's in charge of hiring there. And they're probably going to try to shut you down because you're probably talking to what we call the gatekeeper, right? The person that's the receptionist at the front. They're trying to get you out of there, right? So they're probably, oh, that's Brenda, but she's busy right now, right? Okay, well, that's fine. Thank you. Can I leave a flyer with you to hand to Brenda when you get a chance? Sure, thank you. Or she might say, no, we're happy with our cleaning service, but thank you anyway. That's fine. We don't care what she say anyway. She's not in charge. Now we got Brenda's name. So now when you go home, you get on the phone and say, you call them maybe the next day. Hey, just calling to see is Brenda available? You don't have to say you don't have to say who you are, what you want, and none of that, unless they ask, right? But the first thing you want to do is try to get to Brenda because now you got a name, right? And so you just keep following up, but you do this over and over and over, whether you do it walking door to door or whether you do it getting over the phone or or it's companies out there like mine where you can buy leads from companies too who search for companies who are looking for people to provide them with the quote for cleaning services, right? And so you can buy leads from companies as well. So, and I offer them, so you can check out my company as well if you're interested in that. But for the that's really just that simple, man. And the more leads you buy, or the more doors you knock on, or the more phone calls you make, the better chances you have for getting your first customer.
That's great. So do you personally have a cleaning business, or you just teach people how to manage the cleaning business?
Great question. So, like I said in the beginning, I ended up selling my cleaning franchise because that's what I came up with, right? So when I sold my cleaning franchise and when I quit the Jam Pro operations manager job I had here in Florida, which I'm still in Florida, by the way, I had a 2-year non-compete agreement with them that said I couldn't do anything commercial cleaning related, like locally, right? So the way I got around that was, okay, well, if I sell starter kits on the internet to people, around the world, and I'm not competing with them, right? So I'm not infringing upon that non-compete. So I don't have a cleaning company. I never started one because really Clean Biz Network just took off with me just simply helping other people to start cleaning companies. And for the first 2 years, what was that when I left them? It was 2018. So from 2018 to 2020, I couldn't start one anyway. So that's the reason why I don't have one, because I was with a cleaning franchise and I didn't want to infringe on that non-compete agreement that I had with them. And then also, obviously, if I'm a cleaning franchise owner, I can't do what I'm doing now, Clean Biz Network, teaching people to go independent, because again, that's that impedes on the non-compete agreement that I had. So it's a conflict of interest, pretty much.
That's great. So I guess my next question: what is, I guess, in terms of system? Because not everybody you can't just go in. You can be the boss and also be the employee. So how do you go about telling people about system, putting systems in place, and getting the right contractors to help them fulfill these different assignments?
Yeah, man. So I always teach people from day one, like, try to implement your system, right? And so what a system is either A is going to be employees or B is going to be software, right? And so the best way that I like to break this down, I like to keep it very simple, is to think about it like this. If you would do a job, let's just say you was to clean, if you was to get a janitorial job, how much do you think the janitorial job would pay you? Let's just say in your area it's $12 an hour, right? And would you do that job and be happy with it? I don't know, maybe. Or maybe you say, actually, I would do it, but I won't do it for 12. I'd do it for $13.50 though. Okay, well, fine. If you do it for $13.50, then do $13.50 plus $13.50, and that's what you should charge your customer. Okay, so charge your customer $27 instead. And then now you got enough to get somebody else $13.50 an hour, and then you keep $13.50 an hour for the company, and you make a pass of $13.50 while the actual cleaner is getting their $13.50, and they happy because you just paid them what they asked for. You didn't give them the 12, you gave them the $13.50, right? And you getting your passive money over here for not cleaning. And so that's the way I try to teach people to do it. Now, whether you hire them as W-2 employees on payroll, or whether you decide to hire actual subcontractors who work as 1099 workers, then that's up to you. We can do, that's up to you how you want to operate and structure your company. But I used to use contractors myself, subcontractors, but it's up to you how you want to do it. But the main thing is just making sure that you understand the fact that you should be working on the business and not in the business. So if you out there cleaning, you already doing something wrong 9 times out of 10, right? So that is the main thing. And that's why I was able to run my company from Florida, even though my company operated in Virginia, was because I had systems in place.
That's great. That's great. So I guess my next question, how do people find these contractors Like, is there a website that go on Indeed and put out posts?
Yeah. So that's it. That's it, right? So you the same way you would find an employee, you can find a contractor. I used to use Craigslist a lot. It's still available. So Craigslist.org. You can go to Facebook and post it on your Facebook. You can post it on all of your social media, really. You can put it on Indeed.com. Anywhere where you feel like you will find an employee, that's usually where you can find a subcontract, right? Now, if you want to actually hire other companies, like cleaning companies, then literally type up janitorial companies near me and call them up directly and say, hey, we have an opportunity to clean. But just understand that if you're going to subcontract to an actual company and not just a worker, then you're probably going to have to dish out a little bit more of the money. So if you hire a 1099 worker, then you probably can get away with paying them maybe 50%, 55% of the actual gross, right? But if you hire another cleaning company as a subcontractor, then you probably going to have to give up a little more, maybe 70%, right? Maybe 60%, but you have to give up a little bit more because they're not your company, all right? But for the most part, that's it. You find them the same way that you will find workers if you want to go on and hire them just as 1099 workers. But if you're going to find actual companies, then just literally Google janitorial companies near me and call them up.
That's great. So is there do you have a preference on which route you go, whether you hire a contractor or you hire a company? Is there a recommendation that you have?
Yeah, I try to stay away from it because I'm not a CPA, right? I'm not any of that. So I don't want to get anybody in any legal or tax trouble. But what I can say is what I did was I hired a 1099. I preferred that way. And the reason was because you save money on payroll taxes because that it is very expensive. Payroll taxes is, and that's why most people try to go the 1099 route. But if you go the 1099 route and not the W-2 salaried employee route, just make sure that you understand the laws on that and you try to follow those. You know what I mean? Not even try, you follow those, right? So just that's the best way I can put that. But I mean, you have to do your own research. I can't really recommend what I want you to do on that.
That's great. So let's say, for example, I want to open a cleaning business. What would be the steps for me to open a cleaning business? I'm in New York, by the way. So what would be the steps? If you can walk us through the steps of opening a cleaning business.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna tell you right now, I have a YouTube video. It's called How to Start a Cleaning Business, and it's on my channel. My channel is AJ Simmons. It'll tell you way better than I'm about to tell you right now, freestyling off the top of my head, but I can give it to you, right? So first thing first, if I started, the first thing I would do is I would get legal. And so what I mean is get legal is number one, get your LLC paperwork done and your tax ID number, okay? So you go to get your LLC paperwork from your state. So usually whoever the Secretary of State, if you type in Secretary of State, New York, and then you probably can go on that, it'll probably give you the first website. It's probably going to be a government website. And then when you go there, it'll lead you to where you get your LLC. Or if you literally Google LLC registration New York, that might take you there faster. But just get your LLC from the state. Then you go to irs.gov to get your tax ID number. It's also called a EIN number. So that's employer identification number is what EIN stands for. And then tax ID stands for tax identification number. But basically they're one and the same. And that's basically like your company social security number, right? So once you have those two things, you want to go open up your business bank account. The reason why you didn't now for actually, I'll make sure I say this in order, make sure I say it perfectly. So when you have those two documents, you want to open your business bank account. But when you open that business bank account, the reason why you want to do that immediately is because every single thing that you do from here on out, you want to make sure you have a record of that, right? Because when you have a business, everything has to be accounted for. Everything you spend, everything, any type of revenue that you bring in has to be tracked. And so by opening up a business bank account and getting that business debit card, it'll be easier to track those things, all right? So you got those three things out the way. Next thing you want to do is get you some equipment and some flyers, some marketing material, right? So you get you some cleaning supplies and all of that. Get that with your business card, your business account. And by the way, to open up a business account, usually it's just $100 to get it started in most banks. Some might even have a free business bank account. But whatever seed money that you have, that might, let's just say you got $2,000 you want to start with, put it all in that business account. So that way, every single thing from here on out, you're swiping with that money. So the equipment that you buy, you're getting it with that money. The flyers and marketing material, you're getting it with that money, right? And then after that, you're going to need a business license if it's required by the locality that you live in. So a lot of times you go through the county and get that, or you can go through a city if you're in a city and get that. It all depends. Some cities don't require it on cleaning services, so just make sure that you're required to have a business license in your area. After that, get your insurance. But I always tell people, just get a quote on insurance. You can go online and search general liability insurance for commercial cleaning, right? Or for janitorial, and get a quote. And then hold on to the quote. Don't buy the insurance yet. I will wait and get the insurance once you feel like you got a contract about to get signed, but I wouldn't get it immediately. All right. Why? Because you're gonna have the monthly payments coming out. And why get monthly payments if you ain't even got no income to pay for it yet, right? All right, bam. So you got your LLC, EIN, business account, you got supplies, you got marketing material, you got the quote for insurance. Now, for the most part, you basically just want to take those flyers and marketing material and literally get out here, go door to door and start trying to find a customer, right? Once you're trying to find a customer, you can also get your website if you want to get a website. It's not mandatory in the beginning, but if you can, might as well. I like Wix.com because it's easy to make and they got templates for cleaning companies already up there. So you can just kind of use that and play with it. And that's pretty much it, man. Go around, look for your customers, try to get them under contract. And that's pretty much it. If you don't know how to price for how much to charge a cleaning opportunity, if you get one, you can check out the app. I made a mobile app and a website. It's called www.calculatedclean.com. Excuse me, or .net. .net is faster, but it goes the same place. Anyway, so it is a 3-day free trial. It is $29 a month to keep it on going, but it's a 3-day free trial, so you can go up there and play with it and all of that. But that's pretty much it, man. I mean, just getting the LLC paperwork and all of that admin stuff, getting your equipment, getting some marketing material, and literally just getting out there trying to find a customer to give you a chance. That's really all it is to it.
That's great. That's great. I have a couple more questions in regards to. I guess we can start with the equipment. Is there certain type of equipment you recommend? I know you say you teach you about different equipment they should get. Is there a certain type of equipment that they should get versus not to get? Versus a mop versus a sweeper.
Yeah. So, for the most part, well, first off, if you're going to do commercial cleaning, I recommend that you try to stick with commercial grade products, right? So Dollar Tree ain't gonna cut it. Okay. Walmart ain't gonna cut it. You're gonna have to go to, it's like local janitorial supply stores in your area. Just Google them. So I would go to places like that to get to start it. You can go online and search for places. And one of the here's the thing. If you literally go to my website, www.cleanbiznetwork.com, I told you I have Clean Biz starter kits available, right? So let's just say you want to buy mine, but you just want to know what equipment you want to get. Okay, well, literally click on the starter kit that I have up there, and there's a list of everything that comes in my starter kit. It's pictures and everything. Just copy what's there and go find those things and then order them, right? That's the best way I can answer that question. Go to cleanbiznetwork.com, click on starter kit, and then order what you see there. That's the best way I can answer that, honestly.
That's good. That's good. So my next question: how do you go about dealing with customers, whether it's commercial or residential? So I feel like at a certain point you don't want to deal with people who's not giving the best of service. So how would you recommend people go about dealing with customers?
Yeah. So one thing I always like to do was I always like to have the ability to fire customers, right? So a lot of people think that only the customers can fire you. Well, if you run a business like I run my business, then you should be able to fire them too. So I never hesitated when I had, rude customers or customers that I felt like could never be satisfied. I will fire them in an instant because I'd rather have my peace than a green piece of paper, honestly. We can get plenty of that from anywhere, right? But so the first thing I would do to make sure that I ensured that was inside of my service agreement, which is basically, some people call it a contract, but it's not really a contract, a service agreement. So in the service agreement that I have them sign, in there, I will put that we can cancel at any time for any reason. So that's the first thing. And then for them, I consider they can cancel too, even though we do 1-year agreements, but they can cancel too. But the only way that they can cancel is for poor cleaning services. And they have to allow us a time to fix those issues that they have. So if they say they're pissed because the floors look bad, then they have to allow us at least 7 days to come in and fix those floors. Now, are we really going to take 7 days to do it? No, we're going to try to get out there as soon as possible, right? But put that in your service agreement to make sure that you provide yourself that protection from them just up and leaving you because they're mad at you today. right? So that's the first thing I would do when it comes to dealing with customers. And then also, you're going to have to practice some patience, and you're going to have to really like immerse yourself in self-help. You know what I mean? Like I obsessed over self-help. You know, I'm talking about like positive thinking, law of attraction, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, all of that type of stuff to really make sure that you get your mindset like prepared, because you will run into some petty, ridiculous customers, and that's just a fact. And not in just this industry, but in any industry, right? So just make sure you feed your brain positivity every single day. Do affirmations, whatever you need to do to make sure you keep your peace and not stoop to the level of some of these customers. But it's only, what is it? Maybe 10% of the customers going to give you a headache. So for every 10, it's always going to be that one, right? So, and for some reason, it's always that one that either pay you the most or pay you the least. I swear it's always those two. The smallest one you got give you like $150 a month, and you know what I mean, but whatever. And they want to be so picky. And then you got the other one paying you like $3,000 a month, but they want to be, all over, and so you wrestling with yourself if the $3,000 a month is worth it, right? So, but yeah, man, just stay positive and practice self-help. That's the best thing you can do, is work on yourself when it comes to dealing with customers.
That's great. That's great. Would you say I have two questions. Would you say this cleaning business can be done everywhere? Anybody, is this just a business that people can like jump in in 2021, or like what do you see the future of the cleaning industry?
Yeah, man. As long as they have buildings to clean, or real estate in general, basically we follow the real estate market, right? So as long as there's real estate in existence, whether it's commercial or residential, somebody gonna have to clean it. Okay, and most of the time, the person that owns it ain't gonna be the one to clean it, especially not in commercial. Obviously, in residential, if it's smaller homes, then people can clean it themselves, right? But the bigger ones and commercial buildings, somebody has to clean it, and they need it professionally clean. And so that's why I don't think this industry is going anywhere. If you look at the outlook on it, off the past, I actually haven't looked at the future here recently, but it's always been on the up and up. Every single time I check it, it's always still on the up and up. It's a $1 billion industry. So I mean, like I don't know what more to say about, but it definitely can be done in anywhere, like literally anywhere. I was actually I interviewed a guy on my YouTube channel not too long ago. He was from Kenya, and he came over to the States, and now he's running a successful cleaning company here. I forgot where he's located. I think he's in Colorado. I can't remember, but I helped him get his started. He got his first contract and everything, and but I asked him, I said, hey man, do you think that I could start marketing to Kenya and helping people get started over there? He really didn't he he didn't tell me he didn't think the cleaning industry could work, but what he said was not yet, basically, because he feel like that actually, I don't even know if I want to say this anymore. Like the more I'm thinking about it, maybe I shouldn't say this. But anyway, he basically told me maybe not. But it can be done anywhere. It's buildings everywhere. You know what I mean? Somebody got to clean them. So yeah, it can be done anywhere. And for the most part, the process is exactly the same. The only difference is the institutes that you might go through for certain things. Like, for example, in the state of Virginia, to get my LLC, I went through the State Corporation Commission. But here in Florida, I had to go through somebiz.org, right? So it's going to be a little bit of differences here. And also things like this, like taxes, for example. Here in Florida, you have to charge sales tax on commercial cleaning services. In Virginia, I didn't have to, right? So just little like nuances here and there that you have to deal with the localities. But overall, it's the process itself of getting out here, marketing yourself, finding a customer, signing an agreement, and cleaning is translatable anywhere.
That's great. So would you, I guess this is my question. Do you tell people to stay away from certain type of cleaning? Because certain type of cleaning does require more work. Like how do you go about, telling your students, okay, this is a simple, just clean the bathroom, clean the toilet versus, I don't know, somebody just vomit or they had a party and they mess up the whole event place and you guys have to come clean it. Like how do you go about telling people, okay, let's not do that? Like, you shouldn't probably not do that. So how do you go?
So I try to stay away from telling people what to do and what not to do, unless it's like standard protocol, like how to get your LLC and how to, that type of stuff, right? Because that's your preference. So I tell them what I did and didn't do though, because I know me, I like to take the easiest route possible, right? I want it to be passive as possible. I want to do as least work as possible. And then by me doing that, like for example, my strategy was to only focus on office buildings that had carpet. I really wanted carpeted office buildings. Why? Because they were the easiest to clean. And usually you can go in there after hours, you can have your headphones in, you can mind your business, and it's beautiful, right? Nobody's in there, you in there by yourself at the hours, right? And so I liked it. It was easy for me to clean. And then when I hired other people to do the job, guess what? It was easy for them. So what does easy mean? Easy usually means low turnover rate, right? Especially if you're paying good in combination with an easy job. So versus if we get out here and we go get restaurants to clean, I don't want to clean nobody's restaurant. That's just me. I don't want to mop. Mopping is a lot of work. Okay. Mopping is a lot of work compared to just running a vacuum, especially if you have a backpack vacuum, which I do recommend. Just to piggyback on earlier when you was asking the type of equipment, I definitely recommend you get a backpack vacuum because you can vacuum carpets and hard floors with it. But anyway, and so you definitely got to take that into consideration though. What type of facilities or properties that you want to clean. And so again, I put thought into it on what I wanted to clean, but what I like to clean might not be what the next person like to clean. And then also keep this in mind. Don't always go for the easiest thing either. Like with me, I wanted the easy thing with the nice carpeted office buildings, but that's also the least paying too. So you can make a lot more cleaning hospitals. They got all of that hard floor. They got to be stripped and waxed and buffed and all of that. You make a lot more money in that, but there's a lot more work too. So you got to, pick your poison, pick what's right for you and what's not. But I won't tell you what to do. I'll just guide you on what I like, what I don't like, and the reasons why.
All right. That's great. That's great. So can you tell us a little bit more about your course and I guess like the whole school and what you offer for those who will want to get in?
Yeah, man. So just for starters, for beginners, we have the Cleaning Business Starter Kit, and then we have the Cleaning Business Starter Kit course. The course comes inside of the kit, but if you don't want the kit, you can just get the course. So I'll start with the kit. The Clean Biz Starter Kit comes with all of the equipment that you will want, you could ever need to get started, right? It's gonna come with the equipment. We're gonna ship it to your home location or your office, wherever you need to ship it to. It's gonna come with the actual course, which I was just talking about. So the course is gonna teach you every single thing from A to Z, all right? It's also gonna come with a private Facebook group where you can network with the other members that have already bought in through the system, already have customers coming in, most of them anyway, and you can, reach out to them if you need some guidance. A lot of times you can find people local right near you, right? What else we got? You get a free year to my app I was mentioning earlier called Calculated Clean. And so again, what that is a pricing calculator. So you just measure your square feet, which I show you how to do in the course. So you will measure the square foot of the buildings that you want to clean, plug that square footage into that calculator, and then the calculator tell you how much to charge the customer, right? So you get a free year to that. And then after that first year, it'll just be that $29 a month if you choose to keep it. If you don't want to keep it, you don't have to keep it. All right. What else we got? I go live every. I was about to say every Friday, but I literally just changed it this week. But I go live every week, and we're changing it to Monday. But I go live every single week on the Zoom call. You can join. I'm face to face with you. Sometimes I might have my face, depending on if I decide to sleep in that day, right? But anyway, face to face, you can ask me whatever you want. You know what I mean? I'm here to help, right? So you get the course. The course gonna tell you everything anyway. You got the group, the people in the group will help you out anyway, but I'm still here just in case, right? So just in case you get any questions along the way, you feel like just only I can help you, then we can do that. I can help you right there in that Zoom call. Now, if you still, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. And then on top of that, if in addition to the Zoom calls, I do one-on-one consultation, but those are separate and you will have to pay for that. And so you can do a one-on-one consultation too, because I know some people don't want to talk on the Zoom call, because the Zoom calls are recorded every week and I upload those into the Facebook group as well. But I think that's everything. All right, so you get all of that. And so the only difference between the starter kit, the Clean Biz Starter Kit versus the Clean Biz Starter Kit course is the kit comes with equipment too, and the course comes with everything I just named, but without the equipment. So hopefully that's covers it.
Right. Great. That's great. That's great. So my last question: where do you see yourself? Cleaning Biz Network in like 5 to 10 years?
That's a great question. I have no idea, man. I'm just growing it as big as I can. I used to have the dream of having like local offices in multiple places all over the country, and then maybe eventually all over the world. and we actually get out here and help people find the contracts and all of that. But change my mind. I don't really want to do all that. So we'll see though. I don't know. I think really more so what seems to be happening is I'm helping people to build six-figure companies, cleaning companies. They building up, and then eventually they coming over to the consulting world just like I'm in now. And I'm teaching them to basically duplicate what I do now because I'm chilling. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I mean? I wake up when I want to wake up. I don't have a lot of customers, you know what I mean, bothering me a lot. I have lots and lots of VAs that handle a lot of things for me. And so I got a lot of freedom on my hands. And so a lot of people, what they do is when they make it to that higher level with their cleaning company, then they'll add consulting and other things that they can do online and building their personal brand and pretty much mimic what I'm doing now in addition to their commercial cleaning company. And I wish I could have done the same, but again, I was with that franchise. So a lot of them people, man, a lot of people in my group actually make more than I do, honestly. And I don't think you can find any, like, I guess, gurus, if you want to say I'm one of those gurus, right? But you can't find too many mentors online that will literally coach you up to pass them, right? Because they usually just only selling you they basically selling like you're the business most of the time with these guys online. Like, let's be real here. They sell you a course, you never hear from them again. They got your money and that's it. Mine is a little different because I don't just sell a course, right? As a matter of fact, my course sales are my least revenue generating product that I have. My starter kit is actual equipment that I have to ship, right? So it's e-commerce. Then my app is over anyway. I wish I could sell more courses, right? Because courses are the best because they don't have any overhead for real. They don't run out. It's a product that's infinite, right? So I wish I could sell more courses, but I'm just horrible at pushing them. And I really just want to serve the people the most. And it seems like people they want leads the most because they want those customers, right? And the lead generation service I have is going to help them get the customers. They want the starter kit because they're trying to get started, right? And then they want to calculate it because they need to know how to price, right? So a lot of times I'm selling more of those because that's what resonates with people the most, right? But anyway, I don't even know how I got off into that tangent, but yeah, man. Anyway, whatever I was supposed to say, hopefully that helped.
Do you ever see yourself owning a cleaning business or?
Honestly, at first, yeah. Right now, no. So at this point, what I'm thinking going forward is building Clean Biz Network as big as it could get. I really want to shift and really push Calculated Clean, my app, bigger. And I'm either going to sell it or bring in investors and take it as big as I can in some Silicon Valley or somewhere. And then obviously I do invest in real estate. So I'm going to keep buying rental properties for as long as I can live, pretty much keep buying those. And that's just it, man. Just keep building. Obviously, I do YouTube too, so I get a check from that. So I'm always YouTube and try to share and spread knowledge as much as I can. And that's pretty much it until something, excites me to I really want to do outside of what I'm already doing. This is pretty much it, man. I'm just going to keep growing it.
That's great. That's great. So I definitely want to thank you for your time, Mr. AJ. It was a pleasure to learn about the Clean Business Network, your journey to where you are. If you could just close it out with a word of wisdom and where people can find you.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you, man. And so, word of wisdom. What can I give y'all today? The word of wisdom is to get started. Point blank, period. I don't care what you're trying to do. You might not be listening to this and thinking about a cleaning company. That's fine. I will say the reason why I started with a cleaning company, even though I didn't grow up saying, oh my God, I want to clean toilets, when I get older or have a company that does that. But I started because it's a low investment. You can put $2,000 to $3,000 in there to get started, and it's high upside. I turned my $3,000 investment into $100,000 within the first year, right? I just interviewed a girl that bought a starter kit from me. She went from 0 to 13. Her and her sister went from $0 to $13,000 in a month within 60 days. Okay, so that can happen for you, but it can't happen for you unless you get started. Okay, so take action. That's the only thing I can say. And again, what I was about to say before I go on a tangent, because I love to go on tangents, but anyway, what I was about to say was, whether you're trying to start a cleaning company, whether you're trying to start a barbershop, whether you're trying to just be an influencer on Instagram, I don't care what you're trying to do, please do it. Do it. I'm not special. Nobody's special. Dami's not special. He started his podcast, right? You see, he took action. That's why he has a podcast, right? So you take action. That is the word of wisdom. Take action. I don't care what you're trying to do. Just do it. Even if you want to start a cleaning company and you don't want I slipped and cussed earlier in the episode and he might have edited it out, right? So you hate me because of that. That's fine. Just start it anyway. Sneak and watch my YouTube videos because it's free information out there, right? Use that information and start on your own, but please start and take action because if you don't, who's going to do it? Somebody else and you're going to be jealous, right? Just take action. Please do. Nothing going to change in your life unless you change it. I'm AJ Simmons. You can follow me online at AJ Simmons online on Instagram and then AJ Simmons on YouTube. And that's what I got.
Thank you again, Mr. Simmons. And for those who are listening, I hope you guys do take action. And yeah, I hope you guys do take action. And thank you again, AJ Simmons, for your time. And for most of you guys that don't know yet, I created an investing guide. Basically, it's a beginner guide to get you guys started in the stock market, and you can get it on my website at wealthandchristbrand.com. Basically, it's an introduction to everything you need to know in terms of the stock market, how to buy stocks, what to look for in a company when you're buying a company, how long you should look into holding a company. You can find all that on my website at wealthandchristbrand.com. And thank you again, and stay tuned for next week's episode. Thank you very much.